everyone feeling? Oh, that's not how I operate. No. This is what we're not doing. But I know it's also, they give me like right before lunchtime. So I know like you guys are thinking about lunch. But in order for you to get to lunch, you need to collaborate with me. Because if you don't collaborate with me, then we don't get to go to lunch. So how is everyone feeling? Okay. So is it like the coffee is not kicking in? Like what's going on? I'll ask one last time and we're gonna do better because I can do this all day, like until I get what I'm looking for. So how is everyone feeling? Woo! There we go. That's what I'm talking about. My name is Diane Dulce and I am the Director of Communications and Marketing here at the Graduate College. Really, what does that entail? It means that any communications that goes out of the Graduate College, whether I send it or not, is ultimately my responsibility. So that's kind of like what my job entails. But today, we're all going to be talking about building connections and networking for success in graduate school. So you are here. You're all excited to be here. You are all a part of Bridge. And you've been going through so many different sessions this week. And I got to listen to some of your bios yesterday. It was wonderful. I know we have a lot of international students in the room. We have non-traditional students. We have traditional students. So we have a mix of everything here. So we are going to be talking about networking. So who can tell me, before I go forward, who can tell me what networking is? What is networking? You can raise your hand because we're going to be chatting. Who can tell me? Oh, go ahead. Oh, yay, Houston.
Making connections, like a network of a web with spiders, connecting one point to another point to another point and so on.
Okay. Yes, that's good. Making connections. One more person from that side. And yes, let's see. You don't get to save them because Houston already saved that side.
Yeah, forging professional relationships.
Yes, that is good. Yes, both of these answers are correct, right? So why networking matters? Networking matters because it helps you build professional relationships. It helps you access resource and opportunities, and also you can develop your skill while you do it, right? So the definition I found for networking is that it's a strategic process of creating and nurturing relationships. So you don't just network, right? There is also a strategy behind the way you network, and we're going to be talking about that today. And also you have to leverage those relationships. So we're going to talk about leveraging those relationships, because you can have all the relationship in the world, but if you don't do anything with those relationships, then they're not any use to you if you're not doing anything with them, right? And also you want to leverage them to exchange information, and that can be your support. That can be your opportunity. Let me let you in on a secret. Everyone that works at the university works for you. If you did not know that, I'm going to tell you this today. Everyone that works here at the university, whether at the graduate college or anywhere, works for you because you are students and we work for you. Our main job is to make sure that you are successful. That is our main job. And I think sometimes students don't realize that, and you don't ask questions. You don't talk to people. You can talk to the different people. Like our dean is here, like she's so accessible. You can talk to different people, and you have your coordinator right here. Make sure you have her card so that you can reach out with all of your questions, because at the end of the day, we are here and we work for you. So you get to ask us all the questions and you get to let us help you, right? So this quote I really love is, networking is not just about connecting people. It's about connecting people with people, right? So you don't just connect with someone. For instance, my friend Houston here, I know that Houston knows all the things. Like she was showing me how to register for classes if I needed to. She was telling me all of these things. Now Houston taught that to me. And how do I connect people with people? If I know that Sage here need that, I'll be like, Sage, Houston knows this, and Houston will be the person to go to. So you connect people to people when it comes to networking. The next part is you connect people with ideas. Let's say you have a great idea, but you can't tackle it on your own or you need support. Maybe you run that idea by someone else. Maybe they already had the same idea or they had another idea, and together, now you have a brilliant idea. And I saw that picture. You can use the hashtag, what's our hashtag? UNLV Bridge. UNLV Grad Bridge. So you can post that. I was like, yes, I saw that. So please post. And what is our handle again? Or Instagram? It's UNLV Grad.
That's a stage question.
UNLV Grad College. I should know that as the director of comms. Yes, UNLV Grad College. So when you're posting, quick plug, when you're posting today, you can tag us, UNLV Grad College. Like, I should know that information. And then the next one is you connect people with opportunities, because there may be an opportunity that you know about, that's for you, you get to keep that, but there may be an opportunity that you know about that's for someone else, then you connect that person to the opportunity. So I'll give you a little backstory. As an undergrad, I was doing my associate at a community college, and I worked as a student worker, right? How did I get that job? My friend was working at the financial aid office, and as she was working at the financial aid office, there was another student that was graduating. And she was like, hey, if you want to work I know you're looking for a student job, there's going to be one that's about to open. So you can actually apply for it because there's a student graduating. So she connected me with that opportunity. Would I still apply for the job? Yes. But would I apply for it on time? Maybe not, because I found out right when it was about to post, right? So when you know about opportunities that can actually help someone, you share it with that person. So some tips I want to give about networking. Before we can even talk, wait.
That's me.
Oh, that's you? Okay, I was like, did I click once?
You only have control of that side. I'm doing this side.
Oh, wow, all the things I'm learning. Thank you, friend. Okay, so first step to networking, you have to know yourself. Because when it comes to networking, you're gonna share this information with people. It's almost like you selling yourself to other people. But if you don't know yourself, how do you sell something you don't know about? And sometimes I think we may think we know ourselves, but do we really? Do we take time to actually think about it, right? And when it comes to, after you know yourself, then you have to have a 1-minute pitch, right? That 1 minute, have you ever heard of elevator pitch? Have you guys ever heard of that? Okay, no? Okay, so I'll tell you what it is. So an elevator pitch is, let's say you know how you were taking the elevator today to come up to the second floor, unless you took the stairs, which more power to you. So if you took the elevator up this morning, so from the first floor to the second floor, maybe like it's a 10 to 15 seconds, right? So let's say you're in that elevator and there's someone in that elevator that say, hey, how are you? Tell me a little bit about yourself. So an elevator pitch is within that 15 to 30 second, you need to tell that person something about you that will captivate that person to want to continue that conversation with you. It's almost like dating, right? So you kind of know, you just know when you first meet that person, but let's not go there. But so that's like your elevator pitch, right? And with you here at the graduate college or with you here in graduate school, you're gonna take so many elevators. There's gonna be so many people that might just ask you, oh, like, what are you studying, right? So the first thing I want everyone to do after this is when someone asks you, what are you studying, to be prepared for that, right? Not only tell them, I'm studying this, but you're gonna tell them, I'm studying this because of this. Like, why are you even in the profession that you're in, right? Because you just never know who may have an opportunity for you. You just never know who you're gonna interact with, right? So you wanna make sure you have your 1-minute pitch. And I say your 15 to 30 seconds, just in case you have an elevator moment. Like, I talk so much that my elevator pitch is always long because I usually just walk with the person to continue to tell them my story. So I like to narrow it down. So you want to make sure you have that time. You want to make sure you know. So when it comes to your elevator pitch, when it comes to just introducing yourself to someone, I want you to think about, what do I want to tell that person? And you can do it in many ways as well, because based on who's in front of you, you can have your general pitch, but also based on who's in front of you, you can kind of choose like what to tell that person. So if you're in front of a dean, or if you're in front of the school president, that was great pitch, right? So that can be your general pitch, but also kind of see who is in front of me so I can know what to tell that person, right? And also your 3 to 5 minute pitch is, yes, you know this, but if you're in a setting where you can expand on that conversation with someone, then you want to make sure you have enough key points to continue to talk to that person so that you can continue to tell them. I feel like I've been giving all my attention to that side. Let me look at you guys for a second, right? So you want to make sure that you have those 3 to 5 minute pitch where you can continue to actually expand on that conversation, right? And I know different people have different personalities, so we're gonna talk about those in a moment as well. When it comes to networking, you want to be on your A game all the time, right? You always want to put your best foot forward. And I like to say every conversation is an interview. That's what I live by. I live by every conversation is an interview, because you just never know. Even the conversation with your peers is actually an interview. Let's say you in class and you are talking to someone in class. Your peers, they're going to be leaders at some point in your profession, and they'll be like, do I want to hire this person, or do I not want to hire this person? I'm very mindful of everything I say and do, not just because I'm in communications. I should be mindful of everything I say since I'm in communications, but I'm very mindful in everything I do and say, because would you want to hire yourself based on the way you behave around your peers? Because you might think, they're just my peers, but no, they're your peers today. They're gonna be in the workforce place tomorrow. Would they want to hire you? How do you talk about people in front of them? I did say I'm gonna be looking this way, but this is my good side. This is my good side for the camera, but I did say I'm gonna be looking this way a little bit, right? So you wanna make sure that every conversation you are having, you consider it as an interview, because it really is. Because every person you meet, for instance, I live by, everyone I meet, I want to empower them, no matter how small or big of an impact I'm going to have on that person. And when we are building professional relationships, I want you to start here today. I want you to start here today. I don't know if you're a creature of habit just like me. Maybe you sit in the same place you sat yesterday because it's just your unofficial sit. So I want, when you're going to have lunch today, let me highly suggest, when we go to lunch today, to introduce yourself to someone you didn't know today, right? Introduce yourself to someone you didn't know, learn about them, practice this, because this is you can practice the networking we just talked about here today, because your peers within your program can be a great resource to you. Your advisors, your faculty, your staff, everyone can be such a great resource to you. So start today. And have you ever heard of the red car analogy? No? Okay. So the red car analogy, we're going to apply this to networking. Let's say you're looking for a car. You're looking for a car, you go to a dealership, and then you find a car you like. It's a red car. I don't know much about cars, so I'm trying to say, let's say it's a red Chevy, because I love Chevy. That's how little I know about cars, right? It's a red Chevy, and you went to the dealership, you're like, I'm going to be buying this car once I get all the money together. And now all of a sudden, everywhere you go, you see the red car. Was the red car on the road now, or is it on the road now because now you're looking for a red car? The red cars were always there, but you were not looking for the red car, so you never saw the red car. It's the same thing for networking. If you're not looking to network, if you're not looking to expand your network, if you're not looking for a job, if you're not looking for a friend, there can be friends in the room, but you will never see them because you're not looking for them, right? So the same thing. So I want you to think about that. And you need to know what you're looking for. Every opportunity is a networking opportunity, because I think Sometimes we say, I'm gonna be going to a networking event, because there are events that are called networking events because their main purpose is for you to network. But there are everything is a networking event. Like, this is a networking event. You're here at Bridge. This is a networking event. Every event is a networking event, right? So, but if you're not looking for anything, you're not gonna find anything. So what is your red car? One of the things I also want you to think about today, after you do your 1-minute pitch, I want you to think about, what is my red car? What am I looking for? Like, why are you here? Yes, you're here for your degree. We all know that. Like, we all here for our degrees. But beyond that, what are you looking for? Are you looking, like, after you graduate, do you want to land a job in your field before you graduate? Do you want to make connections? Do you want to make good connections with your faculty members, like with staff here? Like, what are you looking for? So I want you to think about what you're looking for, because when you know what you're looking for, then when you are in those settings, you will find your red car and reach out about opportunities, because there's going to be so many no's. But if you don't reach out, then you don't even get a no. Like, the more no's you get, the more you know you're closer to that door. So you have to reach out for opportunities. So I want to tell you a little bit of story about an ice cream social I went to. So I went to this, you know how, like, back to school, Houston. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I want to tell you a little bit about an ice cream social. So I went to the University of Louisville, Kentucky for exchange. And if you're not familiar with the National Student Exchange Program, you can actually, as an undergrad, they don't have it for graduate school, but I'll still tell you for the sake of the story. So as an undergrad, you can actually go study at another university for the same tuition as your home university. So I went to Louisville, but before I went, I applied for an internship. And I applied for an internship. I applied for a shadowing opportunity at the University of Louisville, Kentucky Hospital. So I applied, I called, and nobody ever got back to me. I kept calling, I called every day. Nobody ever got back to me. I'm a very persistent person. So I kept calling. Nobody ever reached out to me. I was like, you know what, it's fine. So I got to the university, and they were having an ice cream social. Guess who went to the ice cream social? I did. So I went to the ice cream social, and I was just talking to different students and different people that was there. And I met this person on the picture. So when I met him, he was just asking me, so what's your major? Right? What's your major? What are you studying? I told him my major, and I told him I was here on exchange. Guess what I told him? Yes. And then I also told him I applied for an internship. I haven't heard back. And then he was like, oh, okay, I can help you. Just email me. I was like, what's your email? He was like, oh, just email me. Because he thought I knew who he was. I didn't know who he was. He was the president of the school at that time, but I had no idea. But I just got there. I got there, let's say, on a Wednesday, and the next day, like on a Thursday, was the social. I was like, I don't know who. Like, he assumed I knew who he was, because I mean, all the students knew who he was. He just assumed. I was just chatting it up with him, right? And then he told me, just email me. I was like, what's your email? He was like, oh, you can just look it up online. I was like, no, I actually don't know. So he was like, okay, just email the president's email. I was like, oh, so you're the president? Great. So I would email you, right? But I started to have a good conversation with him before I knew who he was. So it doesn't really matter. Like, I think I'm very grateful for my parents, because they taught me to actually treat everyone the same, no matter who they are. So the same way I would treat the president is the same way I would treat the person that's helping to clean, because they're all here to make the university successful. So I was just talking to him. We were having ice cream, because it was an ice cream social. We were just chatting, and I was just telling him about what I want to do and what I want to do in school. And he was like, you know what, just email me and I'll be able to help you. If I did not know what I was looking for, I would not have told him. If I did not know I was not there to try, like, I didn't go to the ice cream social for the sake of getting my internship resolved. I went there because it was ice cream. I love ice cream and I like to meet people. I just went there for the sake of going there. and I got this out of it. And I emailed him the next day. No, not the next day, when I got home. I emailed him when I got home. And after I emailed him, he connected me like with the people that was in charge of that. Guess, we want to take a wild guess when they reached back out to me.
The next day.
The same day. The same day. They reached out to me the same day. They reached out to me. They were like, how soon can you come? I was like, I can come as soon as tomorrow. I went, did my paperwork, and they helped me. And then this other picture is me at the hospital. That's like, I look so young. This is the other picture that I took at the hospital. And that was Snapchat moment. I don't even use Snapchat anymore. You know how Snapchat a while back would have like for you to put your location, like, so that was like a Snapchat moment. So when it comes to events and things like that, there are going to be so many things that are going to be happening around campus. They're going to send you like so many events that are happening. I'm not saying to go to all the events, but I'm saying to make that part of your journey here, because you don't know what's going to be coming out of these things. And you're not gonna go because you need these things, but you're gonna go for the sake of building community and making connections, because you never know what can come out of an ice cream social. I had a shadowing opportunities that came after that, and there's so many other things I've gone to, but you have to know what your red car is. Oh, this is my favorite question. Do you attend UNLV or do you work at UNLV? Because I never know, because sometimes it's both. Do you attend UNLV or do you work at UNLV? So you can always kind of like ask those questions, and that can lead to like further discussion and things like that. Since I'm a teacher at heart, so what are 2 things you're gonna do after today? This is when you guys respond. Yes, yes, yes. 1 minute pitch and knowing what your red card is. Okay, so I know that there is also challenges with networking, because we all have different personalities, right? And we all going to be approaching it differently. Like my very good friend, she liked to say, Diana, I don't like people. Like, I don't like to talk to people. I don't like going places with you because you never leave, because you're always talking to somebody. And she'll always tell me, I don't like going places with you because you like to go places that have a crowd, and I don't like it. I hate it. And then she'll tell me, the more time I spend around people, the more draining I get. I don't understand that, because I'm not that way, because I get fired up around people, and she's the complete opposite. And so she networks very differently than I do. She would not come to an event this size. I think it would need to be smaller for her. And for me, I would go to something even bigger than this, right? But I think it goes back to knowing yourself. You have to also know, okay, what is my social battery like? And I think yesterday you guys talked about wellness and things like that. So what is your battery level? Like, what kind of events you go to? There's going to be some events that you just have to go to, because the opportunity is there, you just have to go to. But I'm saying not everything that works for me will work for you, or not everything that works for you will work for you. So really know what will work for you. And start where you're comfortable, which is why I say to start today, because we just talked about it, and you can just practice. Ask each other, okay, this is my 1 minute pitch. What did you think? Did I sell you on me? Like, would you want to hire me? Like, would you want to be friend with me, right? Try it with each other, because I think this is such a comfortable space. And because you're all here for the same reason. You're all here, you're part of Bridge. You all want to really bridge that gap together, right? And you all are in this journey together. So you want to start somewhere that you're comfortable. And you want to attend smaller events and then gradually increase it, right? Because it's like, let's say you don't just start and run a marathon, right? You train first, right? You train first. So you want to attend smaller events, and then from there you gradually increase, right? And you want to balance your networking in academic and personal life, because after I heard the intro of everyone here yesterday, I know everyone is balancing different things. I think the dean said not balancing. She said something else, I don't remember.
Work-life harmonizing.
You guys are such great students. You're gonna excel here at UNLV. So work-life harmony, right? You want to make sure that you have that, because you have all of these things happening in your personal life. You have your grad school and everything that's happening, but you also wanna make sure that this is building your network is part of your academic journey, right? It's part of it. And I completely forgot to address our friends on Zoom. How are they doing? Do they have any questions?
No questions so far.
Okay, great. And I want to make sure I leave some time for questions for you guys. So these are some of the tips I want to share with you. Is you want to stand out. You want to share something that is unique about yourself that will make the other person remember you. And I think when I like to ask everyone I work with, tell me a fun fact about you. And people usually tell me I don't have a fun fact. And I was like, yes, you do. Let's work on it. Like, let's find out what's that fun fact, right? So your next homework is to find what's unique about you / what's a fun fact, because we all have one, right? And I think this is such a perfect picture of networking because they both found out they were from Brazil yesterday and they were networking. And now look at that. She saved the seat for him. You see networking happening. I think my job here is done. I can leave because they're practicing it before I even talk about it, right? So that's what it is about, because before yesterday, they did not know who they were. And if they neither of them shared that they were from Brazil, they probably wouldn't have made that connection right then and there. But one of the things that was unique about them were like, they were from Brazil. And when they found, oh, you're from Brazil? Yeah. Oh, they're from Brazil.
You are from Brazil?
There you go.
And I'm talking to you.
I think it's working. This is what.
And we have more connection than just we are from Brazil. My advisor, it's his friend.
Oh.
And introduce him to his advisor. And we spent a tour together yesterday, and we didn't know about it.
Look at that, they're connecting people with people, opportunities with opportunities. I think this is working. Okay, connect after this, okay? Because looks like they want to connect, right? So this is going to be one of the people you connect with afterwards, right? You want to share something that's unique about you. I want you to think about it because we all have something that's unique about us. All of us. All of us have something that's unique about us, and we'll all have something that make us stand out. So I want you to find out what that is about you. What is that one thing that is just you? What is something that's just unique about you, right? Find that out and try to put it into anything that you do. That's kind of like your motto. That's kind of like what you go by, right? If someone is going to remember something about you, this is going to be one of the things they remember. Like, I smile a lot. Like, I can't help it. If you're going to remember one thing about me, besides that I love to talk, it's going to be that, right? So the next thing, you're going to go to a lot of events, sometimes with faculty, staff, or even outside, and you're going to get business cards from people. What I want you to do, whenever you receive a business card, before you go to meet the next person, I want you to always have a pen with you when you go to events. And I want you to write on the back of the business card something unique about the person, or if they didn't tell you anything unique per se, something you remember from that conversation. Because you are going to be following up with that person, and best practice, 24 to 72 hours after you meet someone, to send them a follow-up email, LinkedIn, whatever you're gonna use. So when you are following up with that person, the way you're gonna stand out is that you are going to write something unique about themselves or something from the conversation, and you're gonna include that in your follow-up. Because when you include that, let's say you come to this event, you come to Bridge, and you talk to so many different people. And let's say you're going to be emailing Houston. Every other student is also going to remember, to be emailing Houston. But if you had a particular conversation with Houston, you would want to actually say, oh, hi, Houston. We talked about how pretty your nails were. It was so great to meet you. Blah, 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 blah. Can you help me with this? And Houston would be like, oh, yeah, I remember her. We talked about my nails, or we talked about my glasses. I'm not saying that's what you talked about, but I'm just saying, whatever it was in that conversation that the person is going to remember. Something you remember, and something the person is going to remember. So I want you to be able to do that. I brought a bunch of business cards with me. So afterwards, I'll stay over, we can chat, and you can practice. You can practice with me, you can practice with Houston, with whomever. So I want you to practice doing this, because when you go to different events that are networking per se, you're gonna receive so many business cards. And by the time you get home, you may not even remember who's who. You may not even remember, especially for your career. You're gonna be going through so many events and you're gonna receive so many business cards. At my past job, my job was to go to networking events. And sometimes I'll get, if I forget to do it, I'm like, I'm not even gonna email nobody because I don't even know who's who. Like, I don't even know who's who, right? So another tip for successful networking is also for you, when you go places, if it's a networking event per se, I think everything is a networking event, but the ones that are labeled networking event, after you know what your red card is, focus more on building relationship quality over quantity. Because if you go to an event that has 100 people and your goal is to meet all 100 people, like those events are usually 2 hours, 3 max. Like, you're not gonna build like any good relationship from there. It's gonna be, you're gonna know a bunch of people, but you don't remember any one of them, and no one of them remembers you, right? So you want to make sure you focus on not just quantity, but also quality relationship. You want to build your network before you need it. So this is the time to build your network. You're starting grad school. This is the time to actually build it, because you're gonna need it when you're graduating, when you're nearing graduation. That's when you're gonna need all the jobs, all the fellowships, all the postdocs. That's when you're gonna need all the things. But by then, it's gonna be late, right? So you want to start building your network now. So these are two of my favorite pictures, right? So I attended Florida International University. I am a Dabble Panther, because our mascot is a panther. So I am a Dabble Panther, and I went for undergrad and I went for grad school. I did my master's in business administration. So for both of them, I did a lot of networking events. So my first job after I graduated, as an undergrad, was a referral from the vice provost, because I applied and guess what? No one reached out. And then it just so happened I went to a networking event and then I was talking to a vice provost and he was like, so what's the plan? I didn't even ask. He was like, so what's the plan after graduation? I'm like, I'm glad you asked, because I applied for many jobs here on campus and I haven't heard back yet. He was like, did you know that Career Services actually have a program that helps students to find jobs? I was like, I did not know that. And then he was like, okay, here is the contact. I'll connect you to them. Just go see them. They'll help you with your resume. They'll help you do mock interviews, and they'll help you apply for the type of jobs that you are looking for. And then they helped me, and then I had a job. It wasn't the next day, but I had a job eventually, right? So I did not talk to the provost. It wasn't, I talked to the provost on the day I needed the job. I had built a relationship with him because I was a student leader on campus. And whenever he was having, how sometimes they have like meet the dean for coffee type of event, or meet the provost or meet the president, go to those. Go to those and be on your A game. Because I met the provost at something like that, right? And we have a relationship. I always make sure I let them know what I'm up to. When I was transferring from that job to another one, I let him know. When I was leaving Florida to move here, I also let him know. When I took this job, I also let him know. So he knows what I'm up to. So there's going to be different relationships, and every relationship is going to be different. So someone like the provost, I want him to know what I'm up to, because you never know, I might need a reference letter. And I don't want the time I need him is the time I reach out to them. Because you know how certain people that only reach out to you, like when they need something from you, like in friendships and relationship, it's the same thing as networking, right? Some people you have in your life, you want to actually foster that relationship. You want to actually keep on following up with them. You want them to know what you are up to, because you don't want the day, for instance, let's say you have a faculty mentor, you never talk to them, and you're about to like apply for a fellowship, and you reach out to them and ask them for a letter. They will write you a letter, but it's not going to be a letter that really prove your character. One of the things I learned in school, I've had some amazing mentor. One of my mentor told me, when you're looking for a reference letter, look for a letter that don't just look at the name, but look for a letter for someone that you have a relationship with. So that exchange, when I went on exchange, the president, remember the ice cream? I met the president, right? And then when it was time for me to get a reference letter, I did not ask the president for a reference letter. I asked the doctor I was shadowing because I saw him every week for like 6 hours. He knew me more than the president would know. Like, the president could say he met me at an ice cream social hour. I had a bubbly personality. That's about how much the president can say about me. But with Dr. Joshi at that time, I saw him every week. Every week I saw him. We had a good relationship. So when I needed a reference letter, I asked him, and he wrote the most wonderful reference letter for me when I was applying to grad school. So you want to make sure that you build those relationships, and you want to make sure that you continue to foster those relationships. And this is the time I will leave you with any questions you may have about networking. And I have my email on there, but I also have business cards. So you don't necessarily have to write it down, but you could, but I have business cards to share with you. If you have any questions. Does anyone have any questions about networking or things? I promised Houston I would make it on time, so I leave time for questions. So by the end of this week, you guys should know each other because you are in bridge together. This can be your network. This can be the people you know what? They're all starting school at the same time as me. If I have a question about something, chances are they either have that question right now and we can figure out it together, or they had that question before and they figured it out, right? So we want to make sure, and I know Houston really wants to work on something to be able to keep you guys engaged together so that the group can stay together. So I'm sure she's going to work on that, and we'll be sharing that with you very shortly so that you can have a space that is your own. But at the end of the day, I really want you to build your network now, because when graduation comes, this is not when. It's never too late. I like to say, I will never say never, right? I'll never say you can't build your network at graduation, but then I'd rather for you to build it now instead of later. Thank you, everyone.